So, it's showing I'm live. Is it up? Okay. All right, so it looks like we're live here. And can everyone see my screen? Okay, so this is the first time I've ever tried to do a live stream, so I'm a little rusty at it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first Vader Reviews midweek live stream. You may recognize my voice from some of our featurettes. So today we're going to do a little bit of animation stuff today. I wanted to kick things off with working on some... hello, Adela Finsonen. Good to see you. Hopefully everyone's messages will be showing up while I'm doing this stream. If I don't answer your question, if you have one, it's not because I'm trying to ignore you. It's just that I'm not seeing your comment when it shows up. So let me see. I'm trying to adjust my tripod here so I can get going. Okay, so anyway, today I'm going to be doing a little bit of animation here. I have a film that I'm wanting to make eventually. It's a animated film in the style of a 90s Disney movie. And I'm going to show you this little bit of rough animation here real quick for the villain called Captain Kane. It's a pirate film. And let me play this for you, and then I'll get into what we're doing on this live stream.
Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be in mine. Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be in mine.
So as you can see, he's kind of a mean dude here. Now what I'm going to be doing today is this. I'm going to be filling in some of the final line work on this guy. I've got it to a certain degree. Thank you. It's a lot of work doing this. I'm trying to get that classic Disney kind of vibe with the animation, or like kind of a Don Bluth, somewhere between the two. I've got a bit of him done with the final line work, and let me show you that real quick. So here's that same bit. It's going to turn off and go back to the sketchy line work in a second.
Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be in mine.
So that's what we're going to be doing today. Is I'm going to be filling in some of these final form of the keyframes. Yeah, Don Bluth's animated films were great. Oh, Jacob Stoffer, good to see you, buddy. Haven't talked to you in a while. But yeah, the animation it's pretty complicated. It takes a long time to do. So let me turn on this feature. Now, the reason this just turned red here, and you can kind of see the last frame if you look real close underneath, this is called onion skin. And what that is it's an animation tool to let me see the frame just behind the one I'm working on. So that way I can try to keep the proportions the same. Because if you'll notice, his eye right here, in the very next frame, I accidentally started drawing his eye quite a bit smaller. If you look at his eye right here, it's a lot bigger in that frame. So one of the things I'm going to be doing here when I'm making my final line work is I'm going to be making that eye the proper size, so that way it's not fluctuating around. So let's get into this here. I've got a nice little pen tool, and for anyone wondering, the program I'm drawing in here is a program called Krita, or Krita. I don't know how you say it exactly, but it's a completely freeware program, so you don't have to pay anything. Hold on. There we go. That's more like it. and it works pretty well. The only thing is you have to have a drawing tablet to be able to use it, and I have a little bit of trouble drawing on the computer because it's kind of annoying sometimes because I can draw pretty much anything I want on paper, but on the computer sometimes the lines, um, there's some kind of latency to the pen when you're drawing on the computer, and it's kind of hard to make your lines go exactly where you want them to go. Um, but as you can see here, also this tool that I'm drawing with, it also slightly morphs the line that you're drawing with as well. It's a tool to try to help smooth out your drawing, but sometimes it makes the lines do kind of funky stuff that you're not intending. Oh, greetings, Happy Bear, and thank you very much for the $5 super thanks, Admiral. It's greatly appreciated. It's good to see you. Today I'm just doing a little animation. If you came in late, I don't know how long you've been there in the chat. So if I miss anybody's comments, I really apologize. I'm not used to doing live streams, so I'll get better at it as I go, because this is going to be a weekly thing now. And sometimes I'll do animations, sometimes I'll do drawing videos more traditionally on paper. Other times I might even do gameplay videos. I don't know. I was thinking about playing some old Sega Genesis games I liked when I was a kid. I don't know if anyone would be interested in seeing that, but I thought I could maybe uh, talk about some of these old video games and maybe find some interesting uh, facts about them so I could talk about them while I'm playing it, just to have some fun. So, but yeah, this project that I'm cooking up here, it came about really strange, um, but it's um, I actually had a dream of the whole story when I was really sick one time. I had a fever dream, and I dreamed this whole musical about a cursed pirate who he's kind of a shady character. He's the main character of the film, and he oh, I shouldn't have done that I yet, because now this line's gonna pass through it. Anyway, there's he's a pirate that kind of is kind of a roguish kind of dude, and he steals a bunch of treasure from this jungle queen. He kind of cozies up to her and pretends that he likes her, and so he can find out where her sacred gold is hidden in this treasure cave. And as soon as he finds out, he goes and steals it and tries to sail away from her. And she finds out that he's doing that. Obviously, she's not happy about it, and she curses him that no man may ever see his face until he gives up what he loves most. And so he ends up as kind of like a skull-faced pirate. Um, and his name is Roger Crow. He's in the story. He's the origin of the Jolly Roger pirate flag. Everyone started basing their flags off of his face because he became the most renowned pirate in the seven seas because he got so rich from stealing that gold. Um, but this character here, Captain Kane, he's kind of like his rival, and he's like a truly, truly despicable character. Um, oh, okay, Admiral. Good night. Have a good rest. Um, we'll see you in the next video. Um, I'll be sure to give you a thanks for all the support you've given. So thank you once again, my friend, for all the help you've given us over the years, and I hope you sleep well. But yeah, back to the storyline. Um, Basically, there's kind of a conflict of interest in this story. It's kind of a Beauty and the Beast thing where um, Roger, the skull-faced pirate guy, he falls in love with this girl, and then he has a choice to make of whether he's going to be like continue to be a selfish pirate or um, kind of become a decent dude uh, because this girl he likes is really sweet, and she's blind, so she can't see that he has a skull face. She's the only one in the world who's not afraid of him because she doesn't know what he looks like. Um, So he's kind of conflicted as to like, oh man, if he could really see me, what would she think of me? And different things ensue throughout the storyline. And this main villain guy, Captain Kane, um, he's a real greedy pirate, and he's a terrible dude. Um, let me see. Oh, thank you for the super thanks. Let me bring see if I can I bring these comments back up. Okay, there they are. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed the thing, and thank you for the support, Adela. I really appreciate that. And yeah, there's no you don't have to worry about offense. I've based the design of this pirate off of I looked at a lot of the Disney Renaissance era characters like Jafar and Scar and some Don Bluth stuff to kind of influence the design of this guy because I'm wanting it to feel like a movie from that era. The main goal that we're going to do with this is I've got almost all of the songs written completely now for the film. I've got to write the lyrics for one more of the songs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the entire thing as kind of a audio play. Um, and then we're going to release it on the channel for everybody to see uh, in kind of a storyboard mode where it's like I'll have drawings to kind of let you see the characters and some of that kind of stuff. Um, and just so you can see, get an idea of what this would look like as an animated film. I'm also making some animation tests, as you can see here, with some of the characters. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this out there on the internet and see if people enjoy it, and if they like it enough, we're going to try to run a Kickstarter campaign and see if we can get this turned into a film. Because I would love to collaborate with some other YouTubers that do hand-drawn animation. I've been looking up some different people all over the world on YouTube that they do really good hand-drawn stuff. Um, so we're hoping that maybe if the film gets popular as it is, as just kind of an audio play with some pictures, then maybe I can kind of put together a little sizzle reel of some test animation of my own, and then see if we can collaborate with some people to do kind of like, I mean, I don't know if it's been done before, but I haven't heard of it happening yet, where a group of people on YouTube all collaborate together as almost kind of like a little digital studio and make their own movie. You know, I'd love to just kind of pull together a group of really creative, talented people and put something out there that people can enjoy that feels like a studio made it. You know, because we're not getting hand drawn animation anymore, except for anime, which I really do like anime, but there's something kind of missing. I feel like with with the lack of hand drawn animation in the classic form that we used to get. Because I like both. I've done computer animation myself, so I'm not one of the people that hate computer animation, but I do miss hand drawn stuff as well because there's a different kind of artistry involved with hand drawn animation, and there's kind of a charm to it that I feel is lost. And I've loved pirate adventure films ever since I was a kid. I we used to watch the 1954 Disney Treasure Island all the time when I was a kid, and then we watched Muppets Treasure Island. Um, I played the Diddy Kong Conquest game because it had all the pirate stuff in it. Back then, you had to just kind of find whatever game was in the store. We wanted to get the Donkey Kong Country game, but they didn't have it, so we got Diddy's Conquest instead. So I ended up playing Diddy's Conquest a lot, and the first few stages were fun because they were easier. So I ended up spending a lot of time playing the pirate levels. So it was, you know, it was even more pirate stuff for me to enjoy. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm going to color in this frame, And so let me go back here to the previous frame so I can grab some of his colors. So this is part of what makes animation take forever is you have to draw, not only draw all of your frames, but you have to hope that you closed off every one of your lines properly so that when you color in a section like his hair that it doesn't mess anything up. And it looks like I actually did it this time. So, Pirates from SpongeBob. You know, I have never once seen SpongeBob. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but I've never actually seen it myself. I know it has a huge fan base. Um, hold on, let me see. Oh, I forgot to draw his eyeball. Hold on, his pupil. He's got one dead eye and one eye that can see, just to give him kind of a creepy vibe. Actually, let me back this up and see what is his expression turning into. Because I should have been animating his eyes as well in the previous version here, the rough pass. Hold on, I'm gonna need to play this back so I can see what he's doing, because you're kind of acting in slow motion when you're animating, um, because you have to think about the performance and you can't just draw a picture. You have to think of where the next picture is going to have the movement work. So let me see what he's doing here.
Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be mine.
Okay, where does he need to be looking? Hold on, this is kind of the boring part of animation, is you have to really think about what you're doing. Okay, so now he blinks. Maybe that's where his eyes will change. Okay, so I guess I can keep his eyes under that one eyelid. Or maybe he should start looking down, so he's kind of looking down at you. I don't know. Let me see. Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, those are great movies. I've only reviewed one of those so far, and then hardly anybody watched it. I think it was because I did it in the skeleton costume instead of as Vader, so it kind of threw people off. They didn't quite know what to think. Um, which is more hard, Jacob? This or editing Fallen Jedi? This is definitely a uh, it's kind of a each one has its own difficulties, because the good thing about Fallen Jedi was anything we had on film, you just had it. Um, but oh, greetings, Janelle Waz. I'm glad to see you. Let me see. Yeah, 3D has like just taken over everything. Like you were saying, the I really miss hand drawn animation, because I've loved drawing ever since I was a kid. I used to sit there and pause VHS tapes so I could draw characters off the TV like Scar or Steel from Balto. Um, so I remember when I was a kid, uh, we would watch the movie once, and then because I always wanted to draw stuff, it was kind of annoying to everybody else because I was always wanting to pause the TV so I could draw the characters that I thought looked cool. I also drew Drake from Pebble and the Penguin, or Shere Khan from Jungle Book. So I remember eventually my mom had to be kind of like, okay, well, we're gonna watch it, and then he can have a little bit of time to pause it and look at it. But then I had kind of a time limit, because otherwise I would have sat there drawing characters off the TV all day when other people wanted to play video games or do something else. So I could get carried away doing stuff. If I really liked something when I was a kid, I really liked it and I couldn't get enough of it. So sometimes my mom would have to be like, "Okay, well that's enough sitting there drawing off of a pause TV that's going to mess up the TV eventually if if it's paused for too long, because you can burn in images into those screens and everything. So we had to be careful with that a little bit. So let me get back to coloring this dude. But yeah, if you guys are fans of Star Trek, and even gameplay videos, go check out Janelle Waz's channel. She has a great channel where she breaks down Star Trek. She does really fun gameplay videos. She does a lot of Sega Genesis stuff. I was a Sega kid, so I really enjoy those videos. But she has a good sense of humor, and she has really informative stuff and some really good takes on Star Trek and everything like that. So, and don't mention it. I'm always happy to help, and you've helped out the channel too by spreading the word about our stuff. So, but yeah, go check her out and subscribe to her channel, because she's one of the good ones here on YouTube. So, all right, let's see. So there, after all that, we have one frame drawn, and now I just need to do that about a million more times. So let's scrub through this and see what he looks like so far with some of the drawing complete.
Soon, very soon, the power of
Yep.
life and
Okay, so that's working pretty good. It's not quite as smooth as classic Disney, I'll grant, but you know, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. I actually have been trying to figure out how to get stuff to be a little bit more smooth, because I've done some basic animation in the past, um, but I've never gotten it to be quite as buttery smooth as old Disney animation, because you have to draw a bazillion pictures to get it looking that good. So yeah, so now that I got that frame done, now I just need to do it again. So here we go. And as you can see here, I'm gonna have to change this eye because it's too small. Oh yeah, yeah, that yeah. I just got a comment about the Gendy Tartakovsky style Clone Wars Vader cartoon I did. Oh, when was that? That was a long time ago. It was I did it for Star Wars Day quite a while ago, back when people still cared about Star Wars Day. Um, and it was a little Darth Vader animated short that I didn't even have a program to animate in. I did that the super long way. I animated each frame in GIMP as kind of like a GIF layer, and then I imported that into HitFilm and did all the sound design to it. So it was quite a bit harder than this, because I didn't know if the animation was working until I was done. So it was kind of a scary process because it was so much work, and not knowing if it's working or not until you're finished with something that big is kind of a nerve-wracking thing, because like you're hoping it's working, but you're never quite sure. But yeah, 4 years ago, wow, that Jacob Stauffer, he said it was 4 years ago when I put that up. Um, that's a long time ago. It feels weird to me how long I've actually been um, doing this channel now, because it's I never thought it would go for this long. Um, but fortunately, people have kept watching. So I really appreciate all you guys that have, um, all the new people, but also all the guys that have been here from the beginning that have watched. Now that beard looks a little funky. Let me redo that. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's something you got to kind of make sure you're getting right when you're animating, is how many like fringes of hair are coming off on a beard, because if you get that wrong, then his beard is flickering around, and it just looks really stupid. So let's try that one more time. But yeah, it's a lot quicker to animate with the Gendy Tartakovsky, excuse me, style, because it's so much simpler to draw. But I will say, drawing this guy is incredibly satisfying to me personally, because I always, um, there was something about the animated villains that always kind of got my attention when I was a kid. I just liked how they would put a lot of extra character into their animation. So drawing this guy is fun because it kind of brings me back to kind of feeling like a kid watching those old animated cartoons. And that's what we're hoping to do if we can get this turned into a film, is to kind of make people feel, kind of give them a nostalgic feeling of kind of a simpler time back when they were young, make them happy, you know. That's kind of a key factor in all the projects that we're working on, is we want to give people a warm, nostalgic feeling, even if the subject material of the story might be kind of serious. We want it to have kind of an old school feel that that you can still enjoy. Um, and it's hard to do, but because you got to find the right balance of having it not be like cheesy. You don't want to seem like you're pandering, but yes. Janelle Wash, you just said that for all the push for nostalgia, it's weird that we haven't had a resurgence of this kind of animation. I think really probably the reason is because it's just so hard to do. It takes a lot of time and a lot of extra effort. Because I've done both. I've done CG animation and I've done hand drawn animation ever since I was young. Um, and knowing how both of them work, like computer animation isn't effortless. A lot of people act like, oh, CG, you can just push a button and anything happens. It's not really quite that way. There is a lot of extra difficulty that goes into CG stuff, but the convenience of CG is that when you have a model, you don't have to draw it ever again, and the computer fills in the in-betweens for you. With hand-drawn animation, you have to do every bit of it, and so I think that's probably why, even though in theory it would be cool to see an old hand-drawn nostalgic movie, most people aren't working on it because a studio doesn't want to put out the money to. Oop, that looked stupid. Let me do that again. Studios don't want to put out the money to pay everybody to do it because it takes a lot of time. As you can see here, it's like it's taken me forever just to get this guy's stupid hair to work. See, that's the one thing that's frustrating to me about drawing on the computer, is on paper I have perfect control over my pencil because I've been drawing since I was 4 years old. Um, yeah, yeah. I just got a comment about models being reused. That is another advantage of CG stuff, is that models can be used again and again. And also, like for drawing extras, you have to design and draw every single extra in a movie. For computer stuff, sorry, my cat is getting all over me. Hold on, let me move her real quick. There we go. Are you over there? Okay. Um, yeah, for hand drawn stuff, you have to design and draw every single character every time they're on screen. But like I know for The Incredibles, they made like a little pose slider system to make extras where they could just bring in the same model over and over again, and then they could just slightly change these little pose slider bars, and it generated a completely new character. And then they just had walk cycles that did the same thing. Um, yeah, the Jungle Book has some of the most amazing animation that Disney ever put out. But they did steal a little bit of their of their own animation, like you said, from like um, there's a little bit of Sword in the Stone in there when Wart is getting tackled by all the big hounds with Mowgli. Disney did that a lot, actually. They did that in the Robin Hood cartoon as well. When Maid Marian is dancing, there's reused animation cycles of the mom from the Aristocats when she's dancing with oh, what's the guy's name? Thomas O'Malley in the Everybody Wants to Be a Cat song. Um, there's a bit of her animation mixed in there. There's a bit of Snow White that they pilfered. So it's kind of like, I guess it's like old school motion capture. It's like if you got it, you might as well use it. So let me see. How long have I been going here? Yeah, it really was so they didn't have to hire models, but also more than that, it was so they didn't have to do the timesheets. Because a long time ago, they had to do these complicated computational timesheets so they could get their animation to be on time with music. Now I can just bring a soundbite in and animate to that. But a long time ago, they had to actually do mathematic calculations to make sure that like how many drawings they needed to be on time with the dialogue or the music in a song and dance number. So it was a huge pain in the butt to do. So I think that's why they would do that redrawing stuff because they knew like, okay, as long as this song is the same beats per minute as the last song we did, it's gonna line up and it's gonna work. So I think that's why they did that, to save a little bit of time. But yeah, Jungle Book was always my favorite um, Disney animated film when I was a kid. There's just something about that movie, something about the jungle specifically, that always captured my imagination when I was a kid. Um, because, like, I know a lot of people don't really like the movie for some reason, but I always loved Disney's Tarzan. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. Um, there's just a dramatic quality to it that you don't get from a lot of the other ones. A lot of the other Disney films seem very kind of Broadway playish, but Tarzan had a lot of good dramatic potential to where at times it almost felt like if it wasn't for the talking monkeys, you might as well have done it as a live action film, you know. Which now, I mean, I guess they're probably going to do a live action remake because that's what they keep doing with all their stuff lately. So, all right, so we got another frame done. Let me see, where's his expression going here? I don't want him to look like he's kind of looking off into space. I'm trying to gradually get his pupil down at the bottom ridge of his eye again. Okay, I don't have too many more frames before he blinks. So let me see here. Yeah, it is a pain in the butt, Jacob, drawing digitally, because there's kind of a latency with the pen tablets that they still haven't quite overcome. Because I've seen like even professional animator guys, like a guy that if you're interested in hand drawn animation, you need to look up a channel. A guy named Aaron Blaze. He animated the Beast and Beauty and the Beast, and he did a whole bunch of Disney animation. And he has a YouTube channel now where he teaches about hand drawn animation, and he's in the process of making his very own short film, hand drawn. It's called Snow Bear. It's about uh, this polar bear who um, he's lonely. He wants a friend, so he builds himself a friend out of the snow. He makes like a snowman, but it's a snow bear, and it looks like it's going to be really cute. He's not done with it. He's been working on it for like 2 years, I think, and so they're going to take it through like the film festival circuit for independent animated films, and then he's going to release it on the good old interwebs for everyone to enjoy eventually. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be really cute. He's the same guy who did Brother Bear. He directed that movie, which I also liked, but a lot of people didn't care for it. Um, so that movie and Treasure Planet, those were kind of like the last gasp of the hand-drawn Disney movies. That and Princess and the Frog. I think Princess and the Frog was the one that like really killed it because that one didn't do too well in the box office from what I heard. Might have been because it was about creepy voodoo crap. That might have been why it didn't do too well. I don't know. Call me strange, but having your villain get dragged screaming down to you know where by a pack of demons isn't exactly kid-friendly material. So I can understand why it didn't do well with families. Yeah, Treasure Planet was amazing. If you haven't seen Treasure Planet, you should check it out. It's a fun movie. I reviewed that a while back on the channel. It was supposed to get a sequel. Unfortunately, they canceled it. But it was going to be about Jim Hawkins at the Royal Academy. He was going to be learning to be a sailor, and they were going to have to fight a pirate called Metalbeard, and he's going to be a cyborg instead of Blackbeard. And I think I even heard that like Willem Dafoe was set to voice him. So I was like, that would have been amazing because he's always great at being a villain. His Green Goblin performance from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is still iconic. It's great seeing him back in No Way Home. It struck me funny that like the MCU has always had pretty laughable villains and forgettable villains for the most part, and it took bringing back characters from like 20-year-old movies before before the MCU finally had some good villains with Doctor Octopus and Green Goblin from Sam Raimi's movies. But yeah, Treasure Planet, I can't recommend that movie enough. That one's really good, and has some great songs in it. John Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls, he does a nice little angsty rock song for Jim Hawkins, because of course it was early 2000s, so Jim had to be kind of moody. I actually don't scan physical drawings and then trace over them, just because of the time involved, and I like being able to animate in this program, so I can kind of flip through it and see if the motion's working, because that saves me a lot of time. What I do to try to make it feel more organic to me, like I'm drawing on paper, is I'll draw with a more sketchy pencil-like brush setting first, so I feel like I'm sketching on paper. And if anybody has a drawing tablet for their computer and they're having difficulty with it, with like controlling the pen, what I've found helped me, it might even just be a psychological thing, but it seemed to help giving a little bit of extra friction to my pen. What I've done, and I'm even doing it right now, you can't see it because my tablet's out of view, but I have a piece of notebook paper that I put down over the face of my tablet. And for one thing, that gives it a little bit of give, like paper has, so it makes my fingers hurt less after drawing for long periods of time. And then also, it gives me a little bit of an extra feeling of traditional drawing, because the paper slows down the drawing pen just slightly, and it gives me a nice amount of friction to where it feels natural. Because sometimes when you're drawing with a pen tablet, it has that kind of scratchy ice skating feel almost. Um, it feels unnatural because your pen is just gliding over this scratchy surface, and it just really threw me off. So I put a piece of paper down, and it still reads through the notebook paper, and I can draw. Not very well all the time, as you can see, because sometimes the pen just kind of, it has sort of a mind of its own every once in a while, which kind of annoys me, especially when drawing his hair here. That's the part I dread every time I'm doing a new frame, is doing Captain Kane's hair, because it's just, you have to have so much control. I can do it with like one clean line on paper, but on this pen tablet, I have to do the same lines over and over and over again to get them to look how I want. Oh, don't feel bad saying you feel like you're a caveman drawing with digital stuff. I do too. I actually pretty much hate drawing digitally because it's frustrating. It feels like you've got boxing gloves on and like someone else is shaking your arm the entire time you're drawing because I don't have the fine motor control when I'm drawing on a tablet that I do with paper. Um, but I'm starting to kind of get better at it. I don't know if you noticed this, but I've actually got a smoothing tool on um, my pen here. Let me move this real quick so you can see my interface here. This, if you're drawing in Krita, it's a free program. This tool right here, you pick the brush first, and then you pick this little thing, and what that does is, let me put this back in here. There we go. What it does is it smooths your drawing. See, it won't do it if you're doing really wobbly lines, but if you're kind of going like this, see how perfect that made it? So it can really be a boon to drawing lines because as long as you're not too wobbly where it thinks you're trying to draw a really wobbly line, um, it'll help smooth it out for you. But yeah, the 2000s, they really were the last gasp of Western animation, like you said, um, because they put out some great stuff in around that time. But unfortunately, the computer animation, it's as Yoda would say, quicker, easier, more seductive. It's a lot. It's kind of going to the dark side. It's a lot easier to do that way. Um, it has its problems and it has its issues you have to overcome. It's not super easy by any means, but there are certain things that are a lot quicker and easier if you're doing computer generated animation. And there's certainly a time element involved. And studios like shorter times and shorter work hours because they don't like paying people. Um, Funny thing about hiring animators, you have to pay them. Um, it's funny, was how you said that about Atlantis being Stargate. I made the same exact comparison in my review because he's basically Daniel Jackson. Um, it's pretty inescapable. I really think they must have been going for that vibe because I don't see how it could have been an accident because it's so much like Stargate. Um, but it was a pretty good little movie for what it was. I remember when I first saw it, I was disappointed because I thought we were going to spend time with all these great, funny characters. But then when I watched the movie, they used all the best bits of those characters on the trailer, so I was kind of like, huh, they uh, they already showed me the best parts, so it was a little underwhelming. But yeah, to your point there, Disney does tend to swipe a lot of ideas. They try to say now that they didn't copy off of Kimba the White Lion to make the Lion King, but Matthew Broderick said when he came in to read for Simba, he said he was excited because originally the character's name was Kimba in the script, and he was even a white lion cub. And there's the images of in the Kimba cartoon, the dad is up in the clouds, speaking to the son as a ghost. The little baby cub he hides in a bramble thicket, and they're evil hyenas, a big lion with dark brown fur and a black mane with a messed up eye named Scar. It's like there's all kinds of similarities to it, but Lion King still is one of my favorite animated Disney movies. Um, I know it might be hard to see it in his face, but Scar is actually he was the biggest influence besides the mustache of Jafar on how I drew this guy. I kind of imagined if Scar was human, what he would look like. And what that allowed me to do was kind of like look at a lot of animation frame by frame of Scar and how they move him around, and I kind of put some of that character and personality into Captain King here. And for anyone just joining in, um, first of all, thanks for watching, and second of all, yeah, he the I think the big cheekbones and the long face is also a bit of the Jafar in there as well. Um, but yeah, to anyone who just tuned in, this is an original character from a project that I'm working on. He's an evil pirate captain from an animated musical film I'm hoping to make in the near future with some help, um, called The Tale of Roger Crow. And as silly as it sounds, it actually really did come to me in a dream. I actually had a fever dream of it. I was really sick, and I dreamed the whole thing. Not as an animated film; it was a live action thing in my dream. But I dreamed all these songs, and when I woke up, I was like, "That was the weirdest dream I've ever had." But those songs were pretty good. I should probably write those down. So I was able to write down some of them exactly how they were, but others I had to sort of kind of figure out the idea. Um, yeah, I had the we've had Jolly Roger show up once or twice, actually just once on the channel. He's the guy that I decided to review the first Pirates of the Caribbean with, actually. So I actually had that costume because we were originally going to try to do it as a live action film. This whole Roger Crow thing, and but I decided, like, well, it might be hard to find everybody to be in it, because with something like Star Wars, when we did the fan film, it was nice because I played 6 different characters in that movie. Um, so it's like I could be a lot of different things because of all the helmets and rubber alien masks. I was Palpatine, so I did the prosthetics thing, and I was also in the Vader suit. There's like one scene where my brother is my stunt Vader for a second, and that's when the Jedi's pointing his lightsaber at Faust in the field just after he tried to kill him. Some of that stuff is my brother, because I couldn't block the lightsaber from hitting myself. So when I was in the what do you call it? The Commander Faust uniform, my younger brother, he was actually in the Vader suit for me. Um, but the rest of the film, I was Vader, and that was something that I kind of figured was kind of like the worst kept secret of the channel. Really, I figured like everybody probably really knew it was me in there, but we kind of kept the secret for a while. But I figured eventually I should come clean officially with it. But let me see. Let me read this comment real quick. Yeah, the comment was like that most of their ideas come to them when they're either dreaming or on the verge of dreaming, and it's a good time when your brain is kind of relaxed and you can uh, kind of see things in your head. Um, I've actually dreamed a lot of movies over the years. I was actually, when I was younger, I was planning to animate my own Star Wars fan film. This was back before YouTube was even a thing. So I didn't really have anywhere to post it. I didn't have anything to do with it once I was going to make it, but I still just wanted to make it because I loved Star Wars so much. And I was going to make my own computer animated um, fan film. It was going to be called Empire at War, and apparently they made a game titled that, and I didn't even know it. But in the dream, it was set around like just before uh, the Battle of Endor, and there were a group of greedy admirals that had um, they decided the war was going bad, and they could kind of see the writing on the wall that the Empire was going to lose, and they've kind of thought like, hey, if we break off and just kind of reinforce our own little territories, like the different regional governors. They're like, if we just break off and reinforce our own regional territories, we can just make a deal with the rebels once they overthrow the galaxy, and we'll kind of just reshape the galaxy and keep our territories and just start negotiating with them, so we don't have to lose everything because the Emperor is leading the Empire to ruin. And the Emperor caught wind of this in the dream, so he sent Vader and his own private army to go wipe out this tiny rebellion within the Empire. This was all a dream I had, and that was part of in the dream. That was part of the explanation as to how the rebels won the Battle of Endor, was because Palpatine had to already wipe out part of his own fleet, so he didn't have as many Star Destroyers there to take out the rebels as he really needed. And Boba Fett was like a private contractor, so it was the ultimate little boy's dream, just seeing Darth Vader and Boba Fett being cool. And I kind of wish I could have turned that into an actual fan film, but um, we're kind of moving away from fan films right now to try to do more original projects, because me and my brothers, we always wanted to make films, and especially now with how kind of, I don't know, with how much a lot of beloved franchises are getting kind of messed up and drugged through the mud lately. We're kind of thinking like, you know, what we make won't be up to par visually necessarily with what Hollywood can do, but story wise, it can't be any worse than what they're doing. So we're hoping that people will, if they liked the fan film, that they'll like some of our original stuff. Um, we're actually working on one of those films right now. It's called Avenger of Blood. I've got a teaser up on the channel already, and it's about a secret order of priests that um, hunt monsters. They hunt the dark creatures that hunt men. So it's kind of like a Van Helsing meets Zorro kind of thing, because I play um, Padre Dante Legato. He's like a sword fighting, swashbuckling, monster hunting priest, and it's going to be pretty cool. We're practicing all the sword play for it right now. We're having to learn fencing because it's a lot different than lightsaber work. A lot more strenuous. It's very aerobic because you're kind of leaning back and forth, and you have to stay in this kind of half crouched position that it's murder on your legs. But it looks pretty cool when you do it right. And we've got the costumes put together for the characters, and we're doing all of our fight choreography now, and it's coming together really well. And I'm gonna build all the environments digitally, and we're gonna green screen ourselves in it. So, all right. Well, thanks, Janelle, for showing up, and for showing up on the stream. Have fun watching Star Trek again. Subscribe to her channel. Um, she's got some great um, she's got some great Star Wars videos, and uh, some really really fun little gameplay stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So you need to go subscribe to her channel. And thanks for joining us tonight, and thank you to everyone who's here. Greetings, Ryan Golden. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. Thanks for showing up. And let me see here. Social account. Been subbed since you were barely at 100 subs. 1,000. I mean, sorry. Um, Around when did you? Oh yeah, the first Vader draws stuff. Thanks for tuning in with us. I really appreciate that. I haven't made a Vader draws in a really long time because I've just been too busy. Those take a lot longer to get done because I gotta almost kind of figure out an art lesson plan before I'm gonna do those. But maybe we'll do some of those kind of things on these live streams throughout the middle of the week. Who knows? eventually. Let me see here. Let me try to read another comment here. The comments keep popping off, so I'm sorry if I'm missing your comments, guys. Okay, Jacob Stoffer. I'll be honest with you. With the state of Star Wars, it feels like a bit disheartening to try to make a fan film. Yeah, I mean, it is hard because with everything they've done, they really have taken down a lot of fan anticipation for stuff. But I'd say if you're passionate about it, if you're really passionate about making a film, go ahead and do it. Especially after seeing your Vader suit. For everybody who doesn't know, my buddy Jacob here, he's got like a complete reproduction, a New Hope Vader costume that he built up. I mean, the suit looks way better than mine. His is like film accurate, like completely accurate, and it looks amazing. He's planning to work on a Vader film of his own, and so I'd say just like if you care about it, you make it because that's the main thing. You can't worry too much about that um, because I mean we kept the audience in mind when we made Fallen Jedi, but then there were certain things that I wanted to do in the film that I just did because I wanted to do it. You know, I was like, you know what, they're Disney, they're doing what they want with Star Wars, so there are certain things that I'll just do what I want with it, and I can't get that line to work. The tablet strikes again. This is kind of frustrating. Hold on here. Can you guys see this? I'm sorry. This looks like, at least on my screen, it looks kind of fadey off to the one side. I hope it's working for you. Hope you can see it. There we go. Let me adjust that a bit. Hold on. Let me try to adjust my tripod some. It was working great before, but it looks like it's all fadey and weird and dark on one side. Maybe it's just my tablet doing that. I hope it's not like that for all of you guys. But yeah, like I mean, we just got a comment today that somebody really liked the film overall, but he didn't really care for when I had Vader running through the woods, and it's like that's fair. It's like I knew that was going to be something that some people might not like. The reason I put it in there was just because I've been watching a ton of samurai movies, and uh, it was kind of a reference to some Akira Kurosawa films with Toshiro Mifune, a very famous Japanese actor who was kind of renowned for playing really cool samurai roles. And in a lot of those samurai fights, they will kind of run after each other um, as they're fighting. So I know it's kind of kind of out of character for Darth Vader to run, but I wanted to I wanted to do it because I thought it would look cool. That's kind of one of my main things I keep in mind when I'm trying to come up with a story for like a film is like, will it look cool? If the answer to me is yes, then I'll try to figure out a way to make it work. So, all right, now it's time to get that color selector, and it's time to start coloring in this next frame. So let me do this eye while I'm all close on it so I don't mess up. Oop, that's the eyelid color. And then I'll back out so you guys can see more of the image. All right. But yeah, this is a look behind the scenes at what goes into making hand-drawn animation. As you can see, it's a very tedious process. After all this time, we've been going for about an hour now, and I think I've only drawn 3 frames really. So if I've kept my count correct, I think I've only done 3 frames of animation this whole time, and so that gives you kind of an idea of how long it takes to do animation, because you could be slaving away at this, and you don't have much to show for it after a while. That's why I tend to watch the same little bit of animation that I've got done over and over and over again whenever I have a new piece, because it's like I finally have something new to see. All right, let's turn this off. And let's check out what we got here. Some of the scratchiness is going to be there, so I put the stars behind them, and let's see what this is looking like with some of our new frames.
Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be mine.
Okay, he's a little frozen on that last frame, obviously, but I think overall this is working pretty well. Let me turn this back to a new frame, so that way it'll change over. He'll be harder to see in front of the stuff, but let's watch that one more time. Let's see here. I think we're going to wrap this up pretty soon here, because this will be, it's pretty much the same thing over and over and over again when you're animating, so I don't want to bore you guys. But yeah, this is one of the projects that we're working on. We've got a lot of stuff in the works, and some of it is live action. This, of course, is an animated project. Um, I don't want to tell you too many things about it just yet, because uh, we're so far out from getting it done. But I wanted to show you guys a little bit of what I'm working on with it. Um, Again, it's a fun kind of old school Disney slash Don Bluth feel that we're going for with this, and hopefully we will be able to get the support and get a crew together to make this happen. At the very least, you will be able to see the whole thing in kind of a storyboarded form once I get the last song written, and then I'll finalize the rest of the script. I'm working on the script right now as well. Um, all the boring talky bits in between the sword fighting and singing and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna post it all as kind of an audio play with storyboards attached, as it were. So that way you can still get an idea of the visual world of the movie, and you'll still be able to enjoy it to a certain extent. Whether we can raise all the money to turn it into an animated film or not. And I'm going to do little animation passes like this of the different characters in the film, just so you guys can see them in motion, and again get a good idea of what the general feel of the film is going to be. And hopefully we'll be able to generate the interest and support needed to get it done, because I think that would be a really cool thing to be able to do on the internet. Bring people together with a great project, and because so many people love hand-drawn animation, and every time I see hand-drawn animation show up on YouTube, um, people are always saying the same thing of like, oh man, I love this so much. Hand-drawn animation needs to make a comeback. And but people aren't really doing it. They're not really making it come back. So I figured, like, it's a long shot, but let's see if we can make hand-drawn animation come back. I think that would be kind of cool. So I think I'll go on for just a few more minutes here, to see if I can get close to being done with this. Oop, I grabbed the wrong tool. Crap. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, here we go. There we go, that's better. Well, no, it's not, because that's a crappy looking line. Hold on. Yeesh. This is not cooperating. Okay, see, that's the thing about drawing on the computer for me. Sometimes I have to just be like, well, that's this is as close as I'm gonna get, I guess. So it's frustrating for me, because I feel like I'm kind of sacrificing something. Because like, if this was on paper, it could just be exactly what I wanted. But the advantage of drawing on the computer is I can sync my animation to sound, so I can get the dialogue working really well. And different parts of this would be impossible to do if I didn't have, well, impossible for me to do, I guess, if I didn't have the sound file behind it. So, but yeah, this is actually while I was house sitting for my sister while I was gone for 2 weeks on YouTube. That's when I was actually doing the rough animation for this whole scene. I was while I was in between taking care of her dogs, I was just animating all day long. I'd just be sitting there for uh, one day I was sitting there for I think it was about like 8-10 hours or something in between trips of taking the pups outside. So it was it's pretty time consuming, but it's also pretty fun. Okay, now let me scrub through this and see. Do I need to drop his shoulder down more? Where's his shoulder going? Oh, it's raising back up. Okay. So that's the hard thing with animation. Sometimes you gotta kind of jump back and forth because you're like, okay, what was I doing? What was the acting going on there? What's going on? But I think I can leave his shoulder kind of where it is because it didn't look like it moved just yet. It moves in the next couple of frames. So, but yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting. It's a very lengthy process, obviously doing hand drawn animation, but there is kind of a magic to it when you see it moving, and it's a cool feeling. Oh, my pen tablet just kicked out on me. Hold on, let me plug it back in. My cat jumped off the couch and she yanked on the cord. It's got a finicky cord. It's got a short in it, so any little bump can make it stop working. Hold on, I'm gonna have to redraw that hat because it's kind of funky looking. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little look at what I'm working on here. And in the future, when I do other live streams like this, it's not always going to be animation necessarily. Sometimes I might be drawn on paper. I might be prop building from time to time. One thing I might even do is like, if you guys are interested in it, I don't know, it might be boring to you guys, but I could even play some of my old video games that I've got. Do some playthroughs of some old Sega Genesis games that I have because I still have my Sega. So um, if you guys would like to tune in and hang out with me while I'm playing video games, I can try to answer some comments if I can like look at the screen and see what you guys are saying every now and then. It might be kind of hard, but yeah, if that's something that would interest you guys, let me know in the comments. Because I'm really just kind of I'm testing the waters here with what exactly we'll be doing a lot of the time on these live streams. Because um, this is just a way to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more connected, and a way to just kind of talk about some other stuff that maybe wouldn't be necessarily a project. A Sorry, I can't talk. I'm tongue tied. Necessarily wouldn't be a topic on the main Vader reviews each weekend, because you know people tune in to see me talk about movies for theirs. So whenever I've done videos on video games, those do really bad with views. So if you guys here on these little midweek live streams have an interest in video game stuff, let me know and I can give that a try. And then uh, we'll keep doing movies for the weekly videos, and we can play around with other fun stuff on these midweek live streams. So as soon as I get there, we go. I think as soon as I get this last frame done, we might call it a night, and so I can let everyone get going, and so I'm not streaming for too long here. Because last time I did one live stream a while back where I was building a spaceship in Animation Master, my computer animation software, and when it went on for too long, they kind of started compressing the video so much you couldn't really see what I was doing. YouTube kind of throttled me a bit, and it looked terrible. So if I'm all pixelized and you can't see what I'm drawing, it kind of defeats the purpose to continue a drawing video. So I want to stop this one before it gets to that point. So let me just color him in real quick, and then we'll play through the animation one more time, and then we'll call it a night. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in. I hope I got to everybody's comments, because I have to concentrate so much when I'm animating. I don't know if I missed anybody. I'm really sorry. And hopefully I'll be able to get your comment next time. I'm not ignoring anybody, so don't worry about that. I'm not ignoring anybody. I just, I'm still very, very green at this whole live stream thing. It's a totally different animal to having a totally scripted, planned video. So, for the most part, I think it's gone pretty well, though. So, let's get his eyes colored in here and his teeth. Alright, now his mouth. We gotta get it. We gotta grab that pink color for his tongue. And the red for the inside of his mouth and his shirt. Okay, we're almost done here. And it'll be cool when I got this guy totally complete. When I have all of the animation complete for him in this form, I'll get it composited over a background, and then I'll post it full quality in one of my weekly videos, so you guys can get a really good look at him without being all like having to look at it through a screen like this, because I know that kind of, it degrades the quality just a little bit, but you know, hopefully you can still see it enough to enjoy it. So let me move this down. We'll play it a couple of times, and then we will sign off. So here we go. Can you guys see all of them when he's that way? There we go. Okay. And here we go.
Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be mine. Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be mine.
So as you can see, I've still got a ways to go finishing off his animation here, but I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. It's got a little bit of that old school Disney vibe. Thank you again to everybody who showed up. Thanks for hanging in there with me and watching along as I worked on this animation. Let me save my work real quick. I should have done that a while ago. That was kind of stupid of me. But there we go. Now it's all saved, so I won't lose it. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Let me look one time here to see if I can, if there are any comments that I missed. Let me try to bring them up here. Hold on. Live chat. Anybody new? Okay. All right. Okay, so Stoffer. I enjoyed interacting with you guys too. It was fun talking to you guys while I was working on stuff. Usually I'm all by myself working on animation, so it's kind of fun having people to talk to while I'm doing it. And Adela Finsanen. Okay, so you'd be interested in the video game stuff. That would be, okay. So I'll give that a shot then at some point. I'll just have to point my tripod at the screen, so it won't be a perfect thing like people that can play games on their computers and stream it. But let me see. It's showing $11 here. Whoa. Did a few people give? I hope I didn't miss anybody that donated. I'm scrolling back here to try to see if there was anybody that gave some money that I missed here. Okay, good. I didn't miss anybody. All right. I was hoping I didn't accidentally miss anybody's comments here if they donated. And all right. Okay, well, I know this is kind of a messy ending to the whole thing, but I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm supposed to end this thing because I'm doing this from a tablet, so I don't really know exactly how to do this. Um, oh, greetings, Gary the Neutral. I hope that wasn't like 5 hours ago when you said that to me. Sorry, buddy. I think I missed your comment there. Um, but yeah, it's good to see you, my friend. Um, Unfortunately, we're just about to end this stream, but I hope 2024 is a good year for you too. For actually for all of you guys watching, I hope it's a good year for you and your families. Thank you for tuning in. Let me play through this one more time, and then I'll try to figure out exactly how I'm supposed to end this. I don't see the button to stop the stream, so I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Bear with me, please.
Very soon, the power of life and death will be mine. Soon, very soon, the power of life and death will be mine.
So there we go. That's the animation I've been working on. So that happens right after his big villain song in the movie. So that's actually my buddy Micah, who played the Jedi in Fallen Jedi. He's doing the voice of Captain Kane in the film. So I'll be voicing Roger Crow. So you guys will have to suffer through me singing in in the film. I'll give you more previews of all that stuff as we get closer. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I will see you next. I'll see you this coming weekend with my weekly Vader reviews, and next week we'll do another one of these. Um, and I will talk to you guys later. So you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless and take care.